All Michael's.
Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and today I have my Michaels together, and we're going to be discussing THEOSOPHIA, which means esoteric studies in Greek. And first, we'll start with what's new and exciting with everybody. We'll start with Ammon. Ammon, what is new and exciting with you?
Well, thank you, Hercules, for having me today and for us today hosting. Um, Welcome to all the Michaels. It's a Michael party again, and I'm so excited to be here. Um, what's new and exciting? Well, I was mentioning in the green room, I'm in the final chapters of my book that I'm editing and be sending off my manuscript this coming week to the publisher. And the book it's called The League of Azure Blue Angels, talks about my spiritual path and my wife's spiritual path also with our angelic friends and our celestial friends, the Elohim. And so that's exciting. And then I've put a couple new practices into place for my own personal practices, my own personal rituals and things, in an attempt to raise my vibration. So I've been working hard on that too. Oh, and taking Alex to work almost every day, and that's been exciting.
It's exciting. He's grown up already.
Well, he's in the process of working out getting a license, and we're looking at cars and stuff. So he's pretty close to that.
Fantastic. I remember when he was first starting his quest when he was a teenager, and we explored science fiction and fantasy and
Yeah.
different forms of metaphysics. So he's very well read, and I'm glad that he's at a point now where he's working towards his independence, and I wish him all the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, right now he's into surrealism and sci-fi. We're watching Warehouse 13. I don't know if you're familiar with that series, Warehouse 13. Hmm?
I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, it's kind of about artifacts that have powers, and they keep them like in a government warehouse so they don't go out of control and cause chaos and everything. So they keep them under control, but sometimes they get out and people use them for different reasons. So they try to get the artifacts back because they're magical artifacts. And they try to get them back into the warehouse to keep them under wraps.
Oh,
And of
very
course,
check it out.
we're into we were into Doctor Who for a long time, and we're just finishing up the Lord of the Rings trilogy right now. So we're into all kinds of interesting things there.
Have you caught the movies by Peter Jackson and the animated movies and all? Oh, great.
Fantastic. And he Alex bought he actually bought me for Christmas. He bought the extended versions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and there are some really neat special features on there of Peter Jackson going through the process of making the three Lord of the Rings movies. And oh my gosh, they didn't have props in the back room to use. Everything had to be created new, even the pipes of the hobbits.
Oh, wow.
Uh, and you know how they created Hobbiton, the Hobbit town. Um, it took them a year to do. They grew all the grass and they grew all the flowers and the bushes for a whole year to make it look real. I mean, the detail was amazing. So it's like when I write my book, he inspired me a lot regarding his approach to his creativity. That everything is, all the detail must be like really perfect and really unique. So uh, that was kind of exciting to see that.
That is kind of exciting. And thank you very much. And we'll come back to you.
Yes, sir.
West of Kemet. You have a lot of new and exciting things happening in your.
Oh my God, do I? Yes. As you know, I'm, I guess, on the writing staff now of Today's Witch magazine. I just finished my April article already. March will be out any minute now. But they're also publishing my three books. So I'm very excited that way. I also have a half-page ad in the magazines that will be for Phono Wizard, my services.
Yeah,
We
awesome.
have now an agreement. I really shouldn't put this out, but with a large distributing company, and my the magazines, my books, and my services, and everything else that today's witch is going to be advertising. Plus, if you want to advertise with them, talk to me after the show. We have good deals, but we're going to be in 7,000 stores. So
Wow.
it's a huge market. I just got a major high priestess who will remain nameless right now, and she's going to be writing columns. And she's a very dear friend, someone I know for since 1973. And I'm old. What can I tell you? And it's building. So I also have my cyber temple. I've got new memberships. People are going berserk over the fact that I can teach them hieroglyph. I can teach them the different rituals and ceremonies that were done in the ancient Egyptian temples. And I'm putting them into English and Spanish because it's necessary so that people will be able to practice those rituals. You mentioned the Elohim. I have the Niteru, which is my version, I suppose. Those are the deities of ancient Egypt. I call them the watchers more than I do deities. I don't like the word deity. Um, because I believe, as we all do, that they're not necessarily from this planet originally. And I do believe that they are listening more so now than they were, owing to the fact that we've had an interesting situation going on the planet. And that's all I'm going to say on the matter for right now.
Very good. Thank you very much. And that's saying a lot. You have a lot going on, and I'm glad that it's all happening for you. I know who you're talking about, and she would make a welcome addition to your staff as well. And I remember when she had her store up in downtown New York, I used to go there and talk about candles.
Well, she's got another store in the Bronx.
Oh, does
And
she?
she's doing yes, and she's doing very, very well. Well, I love her, so I can't. There's too much I could say about her. We've known each other so very long, and she's such a dear person. Um, and I know that she'll be a great writer, and I know that her candles will be very importantly displayed in the magazine.
She's been on the show before, so several times over the years. So you might want to invite her back and interview her. That would be.
I will. I'll talk to her. I love her, so of course I will.
Thank you very much. And last but certainly not least, Michael Del Russi, what is new and exciting in your life?
We've got a little UFO group going this week.
Oh,
Uh,
great.
with here, and we met in my apartment for the first time, and we discussed some of the classic cases. Uh, there's a Rocco sighting, uh, and so, some of the sightings in the early days when Jerome Clark was writing for Fate magazine. I don't know whatever happened to him. Does anybody know if Jerome Clark is still around? It's been a while,
No.
but he was writing about the early sightings of the 1800s forward. Albert Bender was another uh, classic investigator. He started out as a science fiction writer, but then pursued his path in terms of exploring the UFO phenomena. And we had a very nice time discussing some of the classic cases. And it's kind of frustrating what's going on today. We're waiting for this disclosure, but as some of the participants have mentioned, and I think they're right, I don't think there'll ever be a official disclosure as such. I think what they're doing intentionally is they're not contradicting some of the information that military personnel and others are releasing and discussing openly before Congress. And we were speculating where this is all going to go. And the bottom line, it's kind of funny in a way, ironic really, is that everybody in the mainstream media, as well as Washington, is acting like this is anything new. But those of us who have been exploring the esoteric and the mysteries for so many decades, we know that to us, none of this is really new. We know that there's enough hard evidence over the decades to show that something beyond the physical world as we know it has been taking place. And it's just ironic because if you watch the congressional hearings and the various interviews, it's like this is like a new phenomenon. And so I kind of find it funny in a way that it's taken all these decades just to get to this point. So, but I think what if some have speculated if any president, it's really amazing because I saw interviews with George Bush, Bill Clinton, and President Obama. And it's very, if anybody was seeing interviews with them pertaining UFOs, it's really interesting because you can see by their answers. George Bush is an example. The host of the program, Jimmy Kimmel, I believe it was, said, when you were out of office, what did you discuss? Were any secrets you discussed? And what about flying saucers? What about UFOs? He said, that's the first question my daughters asked me. What's the first question my daughters asked me? What about UFOs? And so Jimmy Kimmel, well, what did you tell them? He said, I can't tell them. He said, I can't tell you. So Jimmy Kimmel continued. He said, well, did you tell them that you at least explored the mystery, explored what the evidence? He said, I can't tell you that. He said, I'm not going to tell you. And it's funny, President Obama, the same thing. President Obama was a little more open about it. He said, look, there are things flying around, quite frankly. He said that we cannot define. We're not sure what they are. There are objects out there. He said, well, did you explore it? He said, uh, I can't tell you that I explored it or didn't explore it. And it's basically the same answer, all three presidents. Uh, Bill Clinton claimed that he did explore it because he was a science fiction a buff, and he didn't find anything. So when Jimmy Kimmel asked President Obama about it, Obama said, "Well, that's what we're expected to say." Now, what does that tell you? So all of the answers, except for Bill Clinton claimed that he did try to get information, but there was nothing there. But George Bush and President Obama made it very clear that yes, they did have information, but they can't tell us what it is. So Jimmy Kimmel finished his interview with George Bush. He said, "Well, look, let's say you're in your 90s and you're a little loopy at this point. Would you reveal it then?" He said, "You mean if I started drinking again?" He said, "Well, if you want to interpret it as that." And the final answer, he said, "I couldn't tell you." So that gives you an idea of just how tight this is, how serious this is. For you have two presidents who absolutely saying if they lived till 90 or were drunk, they still wouldn't tell you. Well, I found that fascinating, and we were talking about that in our discussion. So obviously, this is serious stuff. This is stuff that in the middle 1960s or even the late 60s, your average citizen would laugh at you if you wanted to discuss these things in a serious way. But nobody's really laughing now. Everybody's just waiting for an official announcement, so to speak. And one member of the group speculated they think that if anybody would actually make an official announcement, it would be our dear president, who presently occupies the White House. And they feel the only reason why he would do that is because he would want the attention, which is probably true. But it just shows you, looking over the history, just how serious this really is. For an ex-president to say on his deathbed he still wouldn't talk about it, that even with his family, that's really pretty serious stuff. So that just goes to show you that, yeah, we're hiding something extraordinary. But I think it is going to come out. I think what they're doing is they're leaking this information out slowly. That's number one. Number two, they're not really contradicting anything. They're no longer saying, well, it's weather balloons or what have you, and Roswell was a advanced weather balloon, spy balloon, if you will. They're no longer saying that. So I think sooner or later the truth will come out.
That is very exciting. And as you know, we're developing a show on what's going on here in the Northeast with UFOs. So if you want to invite your group to be on some of those shows, you're more than welcome to.
That would be great. Thank you.
Fantastic. On my end, my book, my anthology book, to which I contributed, called Theurgy, Seven Approaches, is out by Llewellyn. It's available through Amazon and in bookstores, and we're continuing the conversations that led to that book in our monthly group, Living Theurgy. That book came about after 6 or 7 years of conversations on theurgy with theurgists, and eventually, hey, we should write a book about this, and we did, and that's how the book came about. So we can work on joint projects that's within the realm of possibilities, and one of them bore flower and is available to the world, and it's been manifested. With me lately, basically, there's been a lot of things that I never thought I'd get to in life that now all of a sudden are dropping in my lap. And I haven't sought them. So I'm assuming that my time is still needed for some projects. So I have tons of projects now to work on. And again, some of these are projects I knew about as a child or as a teenager, as a young adult, that I never got around to, and now the universe wants me to get around to them. So I'm happy about that. It's always good to feel wanted. So that's what's going on my neck of the wood. Now I'm going to ask a question, this new question to this group, without talking about politics, because I want to avoid that as much as possible. All of you are connected with higher powers of some sort. And you have a clear idea of what powers you connect to, and you receive insights from these powers. So let's add the insights to the show. What our goal is clear. We're here to end the curse of tongues, which divided humanity, and we're trying to universalize the terms that we use and correspond them with other terms to show that we don't have to hate each other because we're using different vocabulary to describe similar or the same thing. So what do your higher beings tell you is the important thing that we should be focusing on while we're still here? So we'll start with Ammon again.
Well, thank you, Hercules. And, Michael, you were talking about the UFOs. There's a lady in the Urantia book community. Her name is Sue Oliva. She wrote a book on who she thought, wrote the Urantia book. And I disagree with her, but we had a really nice conversation about her involvement with the disclosures. She's been traveling around. Trying to work, on the disclosures, because she feels that the Urantia book will play a part as things come out. They'll play a part in showing that there are, entities, beings, celestial beings, angels, different types of entities that are traveling all over the place to different worlds all the time to do things, perform ministry, judgments, all kinds of stuff, that the celestial hierarchy does throughout the universe and cosmos, that require travel and things like that. In fact, in the Urantia book, according to the Urantia book, our planet is kind of a special planet. It's called a decimal planet. Like every 10 planets that are created in a local universe, they're like experimental planets of sorts. So our planet is considered an experimental planet, decimal planet. And in fact, according to the Urantia book, the life carriers that implanted the life plasm on the Earth, they did it a little differently. They actually They actually brought their laboratory to the Earth. So in order for them to bring their laboratory to the Earth, they would have to have transported it in some way, with some kind of a vehicle or some kind of a transport system, you know. So it's definitely something that she's really pursuing, because she thinks that the Urantia book will be a source for people to go to kind of, you know, see what's going on in that way. So that's kind of exciting. I've been in touch with her, Michael, and it's kind of an exciting thing. I hope some things come out. You know, Alex and I, in addition to Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who, we got really into, and we're still into, Project Blue Book. I don't know if you're familiar with that series.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We really enjoyed Project Blue Book, and we still watch it a lot. So you know, we want to see things exposed too, and talked about, and just, and you know, uncovered also. But my
Would you and Alex want to join that new show we're developing with Michael Del Russi and his group? Would you like to be part of that?
Yes, absolutely. You know, Alex, he grew up with several books on, you know, several books that he loved to read and explore on all the mysteries of the world, including UFOs and everything. And so, yeah, absolutely, Hercules. Just let us know what that entails. Definitely, I think Alex might enjoy that. Yeah. So my whole book, actually, Hercules, my whole book is based on what the celestials have told us, the Elohim. The Elohim have told us personally throughout the last 35 years of our lives. I work mostly with the local universe father, whom, you know, we've talked about many times, is I believe is the same entity as Zeus, and his co-sovereign, divine consort, co-ruler of our local universe of Nebadon, according to the Urantia book, is Hera, uh, also known in the Urantia book as the local universe mother spirit or creator daughter spirit. So what they're telling us, what they're telling me, and will be in the book, is that we are approaching a golden age for humanity, and that we need to prepare for that golden age to happen. We have, at this point, we have a global society that is interconnected more than it's ever been in the history of mankind. We have the internet, we've got travel, instantaneous communication. So unfortunately, they have noticed, the Celestials have noticed in their evaluation of our planet, that we are not, we're not balanced enough spiritually in comparison to technologically and such, in that way. And that in order for this golden age to happen, which the preparations are happening actually right now as we speak, humanity is required to come up to snuff a little bit, ethically and morally and spiritually, in order to get that in balance, to start preparing in earnest. And the way we do that is each individual is required to kind of step up their game a little bit. You know, one of the messages that came through was that we need to begin more creating a culture of life, where vegetarianism is very important. Actually, I told you at the beginning that I was kind of upstepping my vibration and changing my practices. I actually just a couple weeks ago started a vegan lifestyle, so I'm officially vegan right now. So, I'm just trying to refine my vehicle and be absolutely totally pure and raise my vibration, because I want to be part of the culture of life, number one. And number two, I want to promote the culture of life, because that's one of the messages that they said is very important in order to head us toward this golden age, which in the Urantia book it's called the era of light and life. So one of the prerequisites for the beginning stages of light and life is to have this culture of life on the planet where fear is wiped out, or a large percentage of fear is wiped out from our consciousness, from our lives, including the animals and other kingdoms, so that there's more of a peace, a harmony, compassion, kind of the Age of Aquarius type virtues. So that's what they're telling me right now is, and it's in the book too that I'm promoting, that we need to step up our game so we can balance everything in what's called a correcting time. So this is a time of correcting. They want us to correct, and they're doing that. They told me, or they've been telling me that, and they've been telling Diane too for a number of years, that they're involving themselves directly, like divine interventions, to go along with our free will to make this happen. But that's pretty positive, hopeful that we're headed toward a golden age of light, golden age of what did I say? A new golden age on Earth, and they're appealing to each person to step up their game, basically.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And we have a series of shows that deal with people's health habits and the paths that they're on. So if you'd like to talk more about your vegetarian-based practice and your spiritually-based practice, I'm more than welcome you to share it on those shows as well.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Onwards to Setna of Khemet.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I know that we are coming out of a period of darkness and anger and friction. Look at the world as it is right now. It is not beautiful. It is physically beautiful, but people are doing terrible things, aren't they? And the higher forces, the Niteru, in my case, are saying that we need to prepare and watch, because it's going to become an age of violence first. Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, is born in chaos. And that chaos is coming to a head, kind of like a pimple. And we're going to have to pop that pimple and make things heal. And that's what's coming up now. And Michael, no offense, I am an omnivorous person. By nature, anthropologically, humans have ripping and tearing teeth, canines, for meat. We have grinding and crunching teeth and such in the back for vegetables and grains. So I follow my biology. I will always be omnivorous. I love my fish. I eat very little meat, but I eat a great deal of vegetables and grains. But I'm as healthy as I've ever been in my life. In fact, my doctor's amazing and shocked how good I'm doing. And there are a great deal of, and by the way, folks in New Jersey, all three of you, Michael and Hercules, there are very large amounts of UFOs over Woodbridge, New Jersey, and in those areas. Also, I have them here. I sit down, we have a beautiful patio area, and I see white cigar-shaped little flashes of, I don't know what, they used to call them rods. And they flash and they go crazy across the sky. And, at first I thought I was seeing things. They must be hundreds of feet long, but they're high up, thousands of feet up, but they're going right across us. And we'll sit there and look, and I'm sitting in the patio and I see these white rod-shaped creature. I don't know. I guess I'll call them crafts. They could be entities. But so we must prepare and worry about cleaning up this darkness, cleaning up this area of chaos and craziness, which is what the planetary gravities from Aquarius are doing. We need to fix that before we go ahead to do anything. Look at all this world, look at all the wars in this world. as you say, we have to learn to live together, all well and good. And as far as your Tower of Babel, we have a wonderful thing happens now. We have universal translators. We can literally talk shit to anybody in any language that they're speaking in by hitting a translator. We've never had that before in all of time. We always had to rely on somebody else. Well, if you're speaking to me in Norwegian and this one's talking to me in, say, German or French, you can hit the translator and you'll understand what they're saying. This is vital. We need to be able to do that. Communication is the key to everything. Do you not think so, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
Good points. And again, I don't think we're going to reach agreement on what the dietary requirements should be for everybody. Michael Del Russi and I have years of discussing this, and we respect each other. I'm a carnivore, so I found that I'm healthier and I'm more well when I eat animal fat and animal protein and minimize the amount of carbs. And Michael Del Russi has been a vegan or vegetarian for much of his life, and we respect that we don't agree there, but we still share information very freely about our health and the vitamins we're taking and what results we're having with various exercises. So I'm not even going to address what the right way is. You could share what the right way is in your understanding or according to your gods, but let's share and learn from each other, because humanity will never accept one way.
No, there is no such thing as a one way. That's the whole problem in this earth. There are a billion cultures saying my way is the only way. My way is the only way. There is no one way. If
Yeah,
it were, a
that,
crystal wouldn't have so many facets, you
oh,
know? Crystals have
that
1,000 facets, and that's us. The light of the universe shines in all different lights to all of us so that we can share those lights.
Very eloquently stated.
well, right now, people, right now, the majority of people will not accept it. But things will happen. The celestials are moving, and they're putting programs. Lord Maitreya, for example, actually, my next book will be I'll be focusing on Lord Maitreya and the messages that he has given to me. And the tradition, of course, is Maitreya Great Tao, where Lord Maitreya works with his celestial workers and assistants and supporters to create the situations on Earth where that can happen. So right now, no, and that's part of the correcting time. That's part of our spiritual progress and development at this time. But it will lead eventually to a vegetarian, vegan lifestyle in order for us to raise our vibration high enough to move into the sixth race and the higher spiritual eras. It'll
So,
happen, but just
Michael,
not
may
right
I
now.
ask you a question? Will that also affect animals? For instance, you're going to put a lion and you're going to make him feed him broccoli?
Oh no, of course
Yeah.
not. No, of course
Okay.
not.
And that's because of their anthropology.
Now,
Their
I did want to say something. I did want to say something, Michael K. Uh, just to kind of rebut what you said about the teeth.
yeah.
Actually, the two canines in front are actually for ripping fruit flesh. They're not for ripping meat flesh. They're not.
Michael,
And
for
number two,
thousands of years we ate meat too,
I know,
right out of the caves.
but we don't have to. We don't have
No,
to.
we can choose to do
Now,
what you wish.
I just wanted to say one other thing. One
We
other
can
thing
choose
before I
to
lay
do that.
One other thing before I lay this to rest. If you're looking at biology, you have to look at our intestinal system.
Hmm.
Our intestinal system is not made to break down meat. Now, what happens, because it's not long enough, if you look at all the animals, they have the longer intestines and they have the systems to break down the meat. So what happens is when that meat is not broken down, it festers in our system, in our bloodstreams, and in our cells. So what happens is that the cells that intake the animal, they can't take it. So what happens is those cells go insane. And the result of those cells going insane is cancer. And that's why you see a lot of the cancers today, because that meat is not being broken down. And that's biologically proven.
Okay. We will agree to disagree on this point. what Michael Del Russi and I do, and also the other people on those shows like Ryan Foley, is we'll present our case for your consideration, research it yourself, and we will occasionally return back to the conversation, but do what your divine inner self directs you to do. But
Absolutely.
hear what we're doing, and we're doing different things. Michael Del Russi, your turn.
Well, I have to go along with Michael Duncan on a lot of what he said. I think the keto diet has been very popular for the last, I don't know, 10 years or more for losing weight and overall lowering blood sugar and supposedly being a healthier diet. I respect everyone's calling, first of all, let me say that clear. But I predicted right on this program when the reports were coming in that colon cancer was becoming much more prominent amongst younger people. And can tell you that I'm counseling with a few people as we speak. One, unfortunately, has passed away at 26 years old. She was a nurse, had no idea she had a problem. Evidently, she fought the disease for 2 years, and I guess they couldn't get control of it. And unfortunately, she passed away. And I put out the premise that could there be a connection between this quote unquote animal fat craze, or keto, if you will, and the fact that our young people are developing colon cancer more frequently. And that's number one. Nobody's come out officially with any solid evidence of that in the medical community. But again, we live in an age where we're very subject to mainstream press. And mainstream press, all they know how to do is grab on the latest fad, quote unquote, and run with it. Well, my 60 years, 50 years in the field, I've seen dozens of studies, dozens, and you can see them now if you go on the internet, indicating a direct connection between the consumption of animal fat and any number of degenerative diseases. So, my argument with the meat eaters would be, how do you erase 50 years of studies which show an absolute connection between the most serious diseases and overconsumption of animal fat and what we have now with this fad concerning keto? I call it a fad because keto has not been around long enough to convince me that it's a longevity way to go. That's not to say that vegetarians don't get cancer. We're all susceptible. When it comes to these diseases, there are no guarantees. But from all the studies I've seen, and I'm 73, I would, for me personally, I would advise a person, if they come to me for consultation, keep your animal fat consumption to a minimum. Fortunately, if there's a suspicion of a lack of protein, we live in a day and age where state-of-the-art supplements are readily available to us, and I absolutely recommend them on a regular basis. So if you look around the world, and I have the studies around the world, when it comes to either the Mormons or many of the Asian countries, whatever studies you want to look at, have shown pretty conclusively, the Quakers, that those who eat the least amount of animal fat tend to have the best areas of longevity and also the least amount of degenerative diseases. So, it's hard to erase 60 years of studies from around the world with 10 years of a fad diet. So I've been opposed to the keto diet. I think it's bad advice. I'm sure there's parents out there that have been telling their children for the last 10 years, oh, you could eat anything you want now. The latest studies show that meat eating is okay. It's a good thing. Well, you hear again, victimized by the mainstream press and the fads that they latch onto. So I would never try to persuade anyone quit eating meat entirely. I, like Hercules has just indicated, follow your divine intuition, follow your holistic mind. Look at the evidence, pro and con, then make the right decision. For me, I don't know how long I'm going to live at this age. you're at the twilight of your life and you know it. You're at the twilight of your life and you try to convince yourself that start accepting it. But I know that I'm convinced that the vegan way of lifestyle, for the most part, and that's not to say don't ever eat meat. I would never tell anyone that. But the vegan lifestyle, clearly, and the evidence is there, is the way to go. So I'm convinced of that. And whether you're talking about systemic inflammation, which now we know is the main cause of most degenerative diseases, or anything else. Now, I'm sure most of you have seen it. There's a rage right now over parasites and cancer, and they're recommending anti-parasitic medications that are usually given to animals. Veterinaries, ivermectin, fembendazole. I'm sure you guys, if you're on the internet on a regular basis, you must have heard of this. And there is testimony after testimony that these drugs are working. Now, you have to be a little careful. I would be caution because there's also some evidence that overdoing it might leave you susceptible to liver disease and what have you. But again, what has been shown as uh, diets that are heavy in meat consumption have the most parasitic activity. That's something to consider because parasites equal systemic inflammation. Free radicals equal systemic inflammation. So I would say just take a close look. It's interesting, it's exciting, and it's also it's a journey. It's a journey for each of us, and we will all make our own personal decisions. But I know where I am at this point, and I'm pretty convinced, based on the evidence that I've researched, that the less meat you eat overall, especially beef, the better. And that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you very much. I will add a few words to that. Right now, my biggest problem health-wise is blood sugar. And I've experimented with many different diets and lifestyles to address that. And so far, what works the best, and I'm constantly testing it and retesting it. Like right now, I'm doing mostly keto, and I'm starting to introduce more elements of the Mediterranean diet, which gets good marks in terms of being a sustainable diet. And I find that if I eat lots of animal protein, lots of vegetable protein, and lots of fat, both vegetable but not seed, and but things like olive oil and similar type of oils that are high in polyphenols, my blood sugar is controllable, and a lot of my symptoms go away, and I feel great. So until that changes, I'm not going to indulge in too many carbohydrates. Right now, my doing the keto diet is an attempt to see how much carbohydrate I can tolerate and still get the vitamins and minerals from the carbohydrates, which a more strict form of that diet, like carnivore diet, which I've been on, and the lion diet. And my better results came from the carnivore and the lion diet, but they almost eliminate vegetables altogether. And I believe vegetables can be of value. So my divine intuition tells me to follow that. And I respect everybody else's thoughts and their evidence and their opinions. But until I find a vegetable fruit diet that can keep my blood sugar low, I'm going to be sticking with this edge of the spectrum in terms of my diet. And also, mythically, Hercules was known as a beef eater. So, if you want to look at it that way, in terms of my own spirituality, beef eating is not a bad thing. So, onward. One thing came up that I wasn't intending to cover tonight, but with the Elohim in neo-theosophy, it means creator gods. They're called creator spirits. It comes from the biblical Eluah, which is the singular of Elohim, and Elohim is plural, which many people have pointed out. So it's a plural word, it means the gods. Michael Heiser, when he was still with us on the planet, he explored this and wrote lots of really great books on the Council of the Gods and so forth. In neo-theosophy, whereas in Hebrew, it means any spirit, So God's name is Elohim, or Elua in the plural. Elohim in and of itself doesn't mean creators necessarily. It can, but a wide variety of spirits were formed within an umbrella. In, excuse me? In neo-theosophy, it's a small number of creator gods that are being talked to, and they're very heavily associated with the planetary spirits, of which there were 7 planets that were known to antiquity. The sun and the moon were counted as planets, and then there were 5 other planets that we call planets, and together they added up to 7, and that explains the predominance of sevens in a lot of metaphysical doctrines and beliefs. So that's what it means in neo-theosophy. And I'm using neo-theosophy as a model to do what we're doing without asking anybody to change what they believe or how they see the universe, because neo-theosophy is friendly to diversity. So as I've stated before, you could have Jesus, Hercules, and Ra sitting together with Kuan Yin and White Eagle Feather. And they could all be drinking beer and or whatever they ambrosio nectar and talking about how humanity can best be served in terms of their spiritual growth during whatever period we happen to find ourselves in. If you look at the literature, they form committees, they have meetings, they take direct action, they have projects. It's run like a big bureaucracy, I guess you could think of it as. So I like that. I like the fact that those that are more advanced with us are not killing each other, but are or attacking each other on the astral plane or the spiritual plane, but are working together to help us in our circumstances. I believe that we're co-creators. So we're Elohim in embryo or in potentiality, or if you look at some forms of metaphysics, we're already Elohim who are sleeping and dreaming this. So I don't know which one of those is correct, but they're all interesting ways of looking at the universe. Now, Michael Waterman, aka Setna of Khemet, mentioned that he believes that the Neteru can be space aliens. So I want to see where you guys stand on the higher powers being from outer space. I don't look at it necessarily aliens. They might be, but I look at more celestials of different types. If you read the mythology, the Greek gods let you know they're beings of light, and they can shift shape or assume forms, and they're very much a part of what's been going on this planet since our creation as human beings. So they have astrological connections, but they're not alien insofar as they were here before us on this planet. So that's my private understanding and my private view. Where do you stand on? We'll start with Ammon again.
Oh, did you say me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about
Well,
that. That's what we
no,
have today with the 3 of you, and then we'll wrap it up for the day.
okay. Yeah, so we're told in the Urantia book that these the celestial, especially like the local universe celestial hierarchy under local universe father, local universe mother spirit, Zeus and Hera, they incarnate on different planets. I mean, in order for according to the Urantia book, in order for Michael of Nebadon, our local universe father, in order for him to become a master son or the co-sovereign of his local universe, he has to embody 7 times on different levels throughout his local universe. So they directly affect things that happen, on the planets. Like you talk about shape shifting. I'm talking about, incarnations, actual direct interaction with the inhabitants of spheres, and Gabriel, the bright and morning star, Archangel Gabriel in the Christian, he incarnates even in our solar system and beyond. So I believe that they are, they're constantly making sure, I think they're making sure that their system is balanced and works properly. So I mean, we as humans can mess up a lot of stuff. So I think they have to, Setna was talking about right now, there's a lot of work to be done with humanity, so I think they're at this point they're telling us that that they're trying to work things out to kind of get us in shape.
Okay, thank you very much. Setna,
Mhm.
you elaborate a little bit more on the fact that the Neteru might be from the stars?
In the hieroglyphs, on
Okay.
temple walls, in papyrus, on tomb walls, it is said that the Neteru, the deities of Egypt, are starry-like beings, that their skin is gold, metallic gold, and that, for instance, Isis says that she came to the earth from around the area of Sirius, this planets that orbit around the star Sirius. We've discovered that there are about 19 planets that orbit around Sirius recently. Also, Osiris, her brother, according to hieroglyph mythology, comes from the Orion's Belt area. How somehow they were made to be brother and sister, that's human mythology. That's fine. But he is green, olive green. He came to the earth in a form that was a human form. Their son, Horus, wears a mask, a huge helmet, which is in the shape of a falcon. Again, so that his situation, his breathing, what have you, is normal for this planet because of his hawk-like mask. Many of the other gods and goddesses also wear what I believe are helmets: cat, dog, snake, cow, what have you. I believe the ancient Egyptians um, interpreted them as those animal forms, just as the Aztecs, the Incas, the people that were in Cambodia, all Angkor Wat and all those places, interpreted gods and goddesses in those fashions. And that's how I feel about those things. I do believe they are a higher power. I do believe they are far more advanced than the human race. And I do believe they're helping us even now.
Thank you so very much. And we're running short of time, but Michael Del Russi, where do you stand on the ancient astronaut issue with your biblical spirituality?
Well, I'm absolutely convinced that it's real, that it did happen, that it's still happening, thanks to our dear brother Eric von Daniken. He brought it to the worldwide consciousness back in 1968, I believe, and I think he broke through, broke new territory in doing so. And since that time, of course, I do believe even in Christian art depicting biblical times. There's large volumes out there that clearly show paintings and artwork that are done in the 1500s and prior to. On the ceiling of churches, there's one in Yugoslavia, which clearly shows Christ on the cross, and two what obviously are little tiny spaceships above the cross with little men inside. So if you want to look at some of the ancient art evidence, I think it's pretty strong that something very unusual's been happening. So there's some kind of alien influence. I am open more these days to the multi-dimensional concept. Jacques Vallée, of course,
Yes.
was very much into that. He moved in that direction. I believe it's very possible. Wormholes, whatever you want to call them. I believe there's multi-dimensional sources from which they are coming. So, yeah, we're being visited somehow, some way.
Thank you. And we will start with you on contact. How can people get in contact with you and learn more about all that you're doing, your mission, your ministry, your writings, and so forth?
Well, I have a book of poetry and art, which deals with everything esoteric, metaphysical, the mysteries of the world. And it's called One Passion Beyond. It's $10 a copy, and they can mail me directly. Michael Del Russi, box one. I'm sorry, 135 Hazel Street, apartment 7E in Clifton, New Jersey, 07011. I also have an energy prayer-based system that I use, praying for everyone through energy, through visualization. They can write their prayers to me at the same address, and I will write them back and pray for them.
Thank you so very much. Setna of Khemet, how can people get your writings and get your books and
Very easily. First off, all the books and my website and what have you, get hold of todayswitch.com. You'll be able to get all my articles. Now there are, I think it's 8 that I've done so far already. I'm getting a lot of press that way. You can also reach me at Phone a Wizard on Facebook, or you can get me on my temple, the Pernateru Temple, or Michael K. Waterman. And if you want to call me, you can call me at 516-650-3691. Or if you're an email kind of person, you can email me at mkwaterman@icloud.com. And of course, you can always yell to Hercules. He will find me.
that feature, I will contact him if you contact me. And last but not least, Ammon.
Ta-da! Hey, thank you so much, Hercules, for having me on tonight. And I just wanted to say I pray for you every day for your health. I want you to know that, and I ask the angels to help you. Hey, I just wanted to say that my book is almost done, and I'm just very, very happy. I'm going to be liberated soon, probably within the next week, because I've just been laser focused. You know how it is when you're in the final stages and everything. So that's going to be coming out, and but other than that, and I'll probably create some kind of platform for that for because I want to promote it, and I want to possibly travel and do some lectures and things like that to promote the book later. But that'll be later on. Right now, I have a YouTube channel that I created with my beautiful wife, God rest her soul, Michael and Diane Duncan. Celestial team meetings and artwork and music and things like that on there. I also have 5 albums and an EP of spiritually based, Urantia book based types gospel music. And you just Google my name and it'll come up on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music. If you want to email me, it's Michael Duncan, like Dunkin, like Dunkin' Donuts without the apostrophe, michaelduncan1@hotmail.com. Thanks again, Hercules.
Thank you again. Thanks to all of you for being here today. We got farther than I thought, but I veered off course a little. So to be continued in our next conversation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the thoughts and insights and information that you contributed. And I wish you and all those who listened in joys, journeys, and amazing adventures. Good night, everyone.
You too.
Blessed
God
be.
bless.